Hello, wonderful Gemini. Welcome to Sweet Tree of Life Tarot. It's a reading for the spread for February 2022. Welcome. I'm going to go ahead and start the reading. This particular reading seems to come out more as a general reading as opposed to just a love reading. So basically right here, let's go ahead and start with the Seven of Pentacles. This usually is a very positive card as far as reaching a short-term goal or a milestone. It's an earth card, so it could be relating to somebody that's either a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or acting in that manner. So this is where the issue lies, though. It looks like you haven't reached that short-term goal that you were wanting to. So let's go ahead and see why that might be. You have a Nine of Swords here. In this position, you're desiring to reach that goal. You're desiring to have relief from this plague and distress. Plague, much like we're going through right now, the worldwide, correct? But you want to go, it looks like you want to go past that. In order for you to get rid of that guilt or distress, you want to lift that by forgiving yourself and then just moving forward. Don't stay there. As you can see, she actually has a way out through these swords. She doesn't want to be there anymore. She's done. She can just get up, pick up the sword, and go. Or just walk away without the sword as well. But there is a way out. But in order for her to lift herself out of this kind of like guilt, distress, possibly even just kind of broken down a little bit, she wants to get up from that. But it looks like in this position here, the way you're wanting to do that again is by forgiving yourself and moving forward. In the next position here, we have the Seven of Cups. As you can see, she's kind of in a dream state, kind of just looking in the future. And all the cards, whether they're masculine or feminine, don't necessarily represent the gender as far as masculine and feminine. They just kind of represent the energies that are given out as well. This card is usually one of imagination. So because it is in this position in the Tree of Life, it does tell me that, someone might be refusing to have their energies in a more focused and productive manner. So they're kind of flying around, kind of like not wanting to settle down and focus. So all the energies are scattered. It also can represent energies being scattered, so it's hard to focus. And it's also the energies here that are maybe offering too many opportunities and not giving you that focus, which is possibly why you didn't reach that short-term goal, because of the different aspects of this card here, saying that maybe you needed more focus, maybe you had too many options and you kind of weren't able to hone in on just one route. So and then right here it indicates feeling a little despair, a little guilt, anxiousness, and in not reaching that goal. If it was with a relationship, it might also be the same way. As far as job, it could be the same way as well, where you weren't reaching that goal because you kind of didn't have a set plan. Kind of like, oh, we're just hanging out, or not having a plan to where like, I want this to go a certain direction. And it's important to just to be able to speak of it and kind of let the person know your plan so you're on the same page. Again, this is dealing with usually because it is an earth card, it is dealing with Virgo, or Capricorn. So we go to the next position here. You have a major arcana, the Hanged Man. So right here, what it's telling me is, in order for you to get the energy that you need to build to move forward, you want to just kind of look, introspect, take a minute out, kind of look at where you're at. As you can see here, he can easily just escape just by opening his eyes and just unraveling here and climbing down. But he's just kind of hanging there. So it's time to let go and find acceptance in the situation you have no control over. We like to think we have control over so many things, but once you make a choice, you don't have a control over the outcome so much. So you just try your very best. So change is also telling you to change your perspective so that you can see things upright. So in order to find that freedom that you want or that continued growth, you're going to have to change that perspective rather than having that tunnel vision or a way of thinking that's really kind of almost stubborn and kind of fixed. Okay, so kind of keep your mind a little bit open. This is what this card here is recommending as far as keeping your mind open so that you can see things in a new perspective, maybe from a new point of view, and really take a look at what happened here and maybe even kind of figure out why. But even if it's not, it's time for you to move on and look at that introspectively and find that new perspective, that new freedom, and also, again, continue your growth, spiritual growth, financial growth, all types of, body, mind, and spirit type of growth. Here you have the Queen of Swords. As you can see, there's a lot of butterflies, there's a lot of lights, and so forth. This is usually a card of, well, just being, she is the Queen of Swords, so she can be a little stern, or a lot stern, being that she is a major, queen. But she is still yet feminine. She rules with her head, but still has compassion in her heart. So this is what the card usually represents. But because it is in this position, in this particular reading, what it brings here is there's a lack of that compassion. There's maybe even some bitterness that's being held with like no mercy, kind of like I said again, with a very stern way of thinking, very stern way of being. So it could be that person that's very stern way of thinking, or yourself, or both of you, as well as the situation where you kind of need to look at it with a new perspective. You don't want to let any jealousy, or this card also can show indisposition, the jealousy, vindictiveness, distrust of others. So it is seen within this card usually. So in this position, so what you want to do is kind of flip it around and kind of try and have that more compassion, have a little bit more kindness, the way that you can be. And don't be so tough on yourself or others. Kind of soften it up a little bit. Three of Pentacles here is actually in this position. It represents all the synergy, which means the energy from everything else going on here, to kind of complement each other and make it a better energy. So right here it shows that two partners kind of working together, and this is the energy that can help you reach that short-term goal. But if you're not working together, then you might not reach that short-term goal that you initially wanted. It might have to become a whole new goal at this point. But that's something that you'll have to really go introspective in and think about and kind of determine for yourself. Okay, the Three of Pentacles here, it is an Earth card. It does again show, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energies here. It is a card that reminds us to see the bigger picture. So stick to your plan. Possibly, team up with someone that can help you if it's a project that you've been working on, and if it's a relationship, you'd have to definitely team up with each other and make sure you're on the same page. You want to hone your skills if it is regarding a project. With careful plan and determination, hard work, it is possible to make those dreams come true and achieve. So if you're trying to reach a short-term goal, it is possible to achieve it. But again, you might need someone to help you as well in achieving those goals. Get a new perspective that you can open up to and kind of see their point of view and see, okay, this is what's going on. If it's in a relationship, it may or may not be a good idea to go back to that, try to work that out. However, if it is financially, like in a job related, it's definitely something you want to look at to make it all your hard work kind of pay off at the end, and kind of forgive yourself if that goal didn't come to fruition the way you wanted to. We're all human, things happen, and you will be able to get up from that. Just stay positive, look inwardly, and have a little compassion, not just towards others, but towards yourself. And then right here in this position, we have the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups, it's usually represents honesty, fairness. She's loved by all, sensitive. So you want to keep that as part of your driving force forward. Again, leaving that kind of harshness and kind of coming back to that compassionate side of you. And just kind of letting things go. There's no need for bitterness. Don't let that situation poison you anymore. Just follow your intuition in a positive way. Like right here, it shows the moon. So it lights your path, but it doesn't give you a full light of your path. But being that it's in water and your emotions here, it's telling you, to follow your intuition as well. And it's a queen. So it's another queen comparing to a different queen here. So you just want to kind of, again, compassion towards yourself as well. Have that forgiveness towards yourself in order for you to move on. Okay, and the next position here that we want to look at is reveals usually what you want. This card tends to be obviously fire sign, fire sign, kind of like warring, but kind of more like almost like an alpha kind of masculine kind of energy where, oh, I want to be right. But because it is in this position and it reveals what you want, obviously I'm hoping you're not wanting to have that higher position over someone or anything like that. It looks like what you really want in this position here is to resolve that conflict. Put an end to the power struggle which is happening here. You can tell nobody's hurting anyone. It's more like a verbal kind of posturing kind of thing. A conflict. So you want to bring an end to that conflict and the power struggle. And also, looks like you want to remove the hostility. You want the anger and hostility has dissipated. So you don't want to stay in that bitter state here or here. You want to make sure you kind of let that go so that you can release that anger and hostility that you've been wanting to release. Just let it go, have it dissipated, and then have a renewed enthusiasm for maybe a project or an enterprise that you're trying to fund. If it's related to love, then you'd want to like kind of just let the anger go and the bitterness go anyway, and continue on a new path. You'll be okay, and you just regain that enthusiasm by doing so because you want that conflict just gone. You don't need that kind of energy and toxicity. In this position here, we have the position that's usually referred to as a foundation, which is like the trunk of the tree. We have a Six of Cups. This one's showing you yourself, how you kind of look at yourself in this situation, or how others see you, where you kind of want those simpler times, that environment of safety that you had as a child. Or maybe you just want to reconnect with old friends, which is also a great idea to reconnect with friends because you will need that emotional support, covered by emotion here, and all the different cups. It's always good to have a good set of friends to talk to and just have their support, family as well. And even though she knows that those times in the past, even though they were more safe, because as a child you might have felt more safety in their environment, she knows she needs to keep going forward in order to keep growing as well. So she's moving forward, but it's nice to see that she has friends and she had a good past, a safe environment. She knows what that feels like, and she's going to strive to go forward to try to feel that again. And this last position here is usually the outcome and what you radiate out, which is the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is a little bit emotional, but very charming, very steadfast also. It's a very pretty card. Again, the path by the moon is lit, but it isn't always there. So you want to definitely follow that intuition of yours. Okay, he's considered to be strong and wise, patient and honorable and kind. But you want to make sure you keep those emotions in check, keep them in balance in order to be able to rule as like in a fair way and just manner. Kind of keeping the peace, so to speak. You want to make sure you want to keep the peace. And then in the Knight of Cups, also, let's see if we can see a little bit further into that. Let's see. As he's gallant, sensitive, strong, like a knight in shining armor kind of thing. he's definitely capable of sweeping someone off their feet. However, he can be ruled by his heart and emotions. So you just kind of want to keep an eye on that. While the knight is passionate, romantic dreamer, he is also a little bit temperamental. So he's even though he is kind and strong and wise, sometimes he is not as patient as he wants to be. But even though he sometimes come out as patient, just basically you want to make sure you keep balanced in those emotions that you're having, because it looks like he could also be a little fickle, not quite where he's supposed to stand. And I just kind of read off a little bit more in depth for that for you, so that you can kind of see, how it does relate to the Knight of Cups and possibly your situation. Right here, we have the pillar of harmony. That's what that's called. As you can see, you start off with the short-term goal. So basically, because everything does relate in the heavens as it does here on earth, we have the pillar of harmony also showing you that maybe, you do have that Knight of Cups that's not reaching the same goal, or their mentality might not be thinking the same way. You want to have that safe environment. You want to have that partnership with that person. And this is for like the love reading portion of this. You want to have that connection with them, work together, have the stability, and reach that short-term goal of maybe your next step or next phase in your relationship. If it's an actual, just more relating to your general reading, to your job and so forth, you do have that layer of that how can being strong, but emotionally you want to keep in check. You want that stability again. You might have to partner up with a partner, get that new view going, to be a little less harsh. Forgive yourself, because that's the only way you're going to keep getting your freedom, and also just being able to continue to grow. And then creating that, reaching either a different short-term goal or something similar, maybe that you just kind of need to tweak to make it happen. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you a very beautiful rest of February. If you do like my readings, please let me know by liking, subscribing, or sharing. That way I know that you'd wanted me to continue to make another reading for March. Thank you again for your time, and I hope some of that resonated for you, and that it ends up positive for you. And I wish you lots of peace, and I wish you sending you a lot of light and love as well. Have a great rest of your weekend. Goodbye.